We are halfway through the NFL regular season, and the Chicago Bears are 6-3. Will they make the playoffs, contenders or pretenders? That's the question we're asking on a Victory Monday. Join us on CHGO Bears After Dark, starting right now. Welcome back to CHGO Bears After Dark, presented by our good friends over at Circa Sports, Illinois. Circa Sports, sports betting the way it should be. Make sure you're downloading your new book today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. I am your host, Greg Braggs Jr. Alongside me, as always, is our guys, Shayne Marsaw and the legend, the GOAT, Adam Rank, the man of the people, the mayor of Meatball Island. We appreciate everybody hanging out here on After Dark. We got Packers-Eagles coming up here in a little bit. They get to stress out while you get to sit back, relax, and enjoy a Victory Monday as the Chicago Bears have won 6 of their last 7 games after starting 0-2 on the season. 3 games over 500 for the first time since 2020. More wins already than they had all of last year. Enjoy it, Bears fans. It's going to get tougher, and we're going to talk about that here tonight as they look ahead to make this a serious playoff push. Shayne, we talked about it. And I said, I'm not going to do the playoff scenario stuff. They had to meet some certain boundary lines to get there. And getting to 6-3 certainly was one of those big barriers they had to hit. They did it, and now the real bullets are going to start flying here soon.
Yeah, man, it all changes now. This is what we've all been waiting for. You want the Bears to be relevant when you are getting close to Thanksgiving and into December. And the best part about that is your head coach told you that's when we're going to start playing our best football. He didn't come out here blowing smoke and saying we're going to hit the ground running, we're going to get off the bus and, be feared. It wasn't that. It's no, we're going to be playing our best football in December and January. And along with that comes the Chicago Bears being relevant. That's what we all want. And oh, by the way, we have a quarterback. How fun is this?
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, it's, I would say not unusual, but I guess it is unusual for fans of the Chicago Bears. And going out and winning the way that we do, I know that there's a lot of people who seem to be upset with the way that the Bears are winning, and they're not Bears fans. So I really don't care what you think. You can sit there and be like, who are you playing? I'll tell you who we're playing.
Did we lose Adam?
As I'm freezing out here.
Oh, you're freezing?
Am I here? Am I not here?
Oh, yeah, you're here. We hear you. Can you hear us? You're good.
Okay, I can hear you. I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting here in the depths of the NFL Network studios. I sit where our researcher, Kendall Mursky, where he is normally during the NFL Fantasy Live broadcast, because the lighting is supposed to be better. And they've turned off all the monitors over there. And, I think there's some trademark issues or something. I don't want to give away too much what's going on, but you know how it goes.
No, it's cool. You were giving me a little peek behind the curtain a minute ago before we started the show, and that's cool. That's cool. Bringing us into the NFL Network studios here tonight, and so that means you have to be on your best behavior. But no, Adam, I mean, I know you kind of lost your thunder there a little bit, though. But I mean, as Shayne was saying, we're not used to this here. The last couple weeks, the Bears were kind of dead to rights at the end of the game. And all of a sudden you have a quarterback now and a play caller that are snatching, a win from the jaws of defeat. And we've won crazy games in the past, but now all of a sudden we're winning games with our offense. And that's something we're not used to, or at least I'm not used to here in Chicago.
Yeah, you think about the Lovie Smith, they are who they thought we are, or they are who we thought they were, and all that stuff. And it usually is like a Devin Hester return. I mean, even if you go to my show, the Sick Podcast, it's a Devin Hester return is like one of the greatest offensive plays in our history. And so for us to see what happens with Caleb Williams at any time that we are down, it is something where it's one of my friends. So I left during the middle of the game yesterday. I had to come to the NFL. I got to come to the NFL Network studios and do game day live. So I had to leave the watch party. And my friend texted me after the game. He goes, you know what the weirdest thing is? Being down by 10 points and be like, we're okay. We got a shot. We could make this happen. And that's the life that the Bears, that Caleb Williams has given us over the last couple of weeks, and it actually extends back to last season. Now, obviously, the game against the Commanders last year is known more for the Hail Mary than Caleb Williams twice putting the Bears in a position to win that game. The Minnesota game that he pushed us into overtime, the Packers game that we lost because of a blocked field goal, the Lions game that we lost because Matt Eberflus didn't know how to call a timeout. Like, Caleb Williams should have already been regarded as one of the great comeback artists in the league, and not to mention that he did rally the team to an actual victory over the Green Bay Packers in Week 18. So honestly, I wouldn't consider this a fluke. This is just who Caleb is.
Yeah, absolutely. It really, I mean, it's shining through here. And Shane, I think, I talked about this a little bit on the post-game show yesterday, but we all kind of wondered how this marriage between Caleb and Ben would go. With Ben, I mean, we talked with David Carr in the preseason, and he had his questions about Caleb's fit with Ben Johnson. And this guy's played in the league. He analyzes the game. I respect his opinion. Yeah. And maybe they were fair questions. But now I think we finally had an opportunity to see, because Ben never had an opportunity to show what kind of coach he can be with a quarterback of Caleb's ability. And now, Shane, you're seeing kind of a balance of Caleb making plays when everything blows up and doing his Houdini act, as Ben called it, and saving the Bears from how many sacks did he save them from? But then on the next play, all of a sudden now you're drawing up a 20-yard dig to the inside on Rome Odunze. That's all about timing and execution that comes from Ben Johnson's offense, or the rollout. I'm excited to talk to Phil here in a little bit about the play action on that final touchdown to Caleb Williams and the sell, and Cole coming across and then leading for the block as Caleb runs into the end zone. So I just think now we're starting to see that dance between Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson of a guy that can make plays on his own versus a play caller that's going to structure things up and get guys open.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And listen, we're so starved for all of this. It's the Bears are 6-3. So they've bet, I'm not going to count preseason and training camp and all of that stuff, but you're 9 games into this and the arrow is pointing up for Caleb Williams. I mean, even the national narrative today was completely different than it was on Saturday with Caleb Williams. I mean, Chris Canty came out and called Caleb Williams a franchise quarterback this morning.
What?
I almost drove off the road when I heard that. I mean, that's way different, than everything has been. But yeah, you're 9 games in, and for people to not think that there's going to be bumps in the road. And listen, I don't think Ben Johnson had a great day yesterday as a play caller. I just don't. I thought he struggled with it, and he even admitted it. He came out and said, QB1 over here bailed me out a few times, and he's right. And that's fine. That's fine. The difference is you're still winning at the end of the day. That is uncharted territory for this franchise. It's always here we are on After Dark. If Zacchaeus wouldn't have dropped that ball in the end zone, we would have won. That's would have been our focal point. But it's 8 drops. It's a horrible roughing call that wasn't, called against Caleb. All of that happened, and guess what? We still won. That's a big difference right there in and of itself.
Yeah, it's really, go ahead, Adam.
Now I start to get lost in some of the things that were called and not called. And, and it's funny too, because I think everybody wants to come out here and, watching Twitter as it unfolds live. Now, Tim Jenkins, who I think is a good guy. I really do enjoy his breakdowns. I think he's actually Bears fans. It's a weird thing because a lot of people take it as negative, but I think he's actually done a really nice job of taking a more objective view and doing his thing. And I think that a lot of the stuff that he brings up is fair. But everybody goes through these games and they're like, oh, like he's being outplayed by Jackson Dart. I'm like, is he? Like Jackson Dart was the beneficiary or the beneficiary. I don't know. But there were a couple of drops defensively, like where we had interceptions in our hands and our defense was making like Olamide Zaccheaus and dropping them and not taking advantage of that. Like there was a couple of them. You're like, God, like the game would have turned right here. And so I just, again, like everybody wants to find reasons to not let the Bears fans have some joy. And they want to point out and this is what I was talking about before I was, what I was rooting before I was sayingly interrupted by my internet, is that we play the schedule that Mike North, not that Mike North, but then Mike North in the NFL and the NFL offices, he's putting it together. Like we're playing the Giants. You know why? Because they told us to play the Giants. We don't schedule them. We don't say, hey, you know what? We're going to play the Montreal Alouettes this weekend. We're going to play the LA Avengers. Like we have to go out. We play NFL teams and we've been going out and we've been beating them. And you know what? When you look around the league, if you saw what happened yesterday in Miami, you know that you cannot take anybody for granted. The Cowboys, you know what? That's a team that tied the Packers and have beaten some other team. They're professional players, and we go out there and we win these games. And if you and listen, everybody was, well, what if Jackson Dart had played? I don't know. What if Jalen Johnson had played? What if Kyler Gordon was playing? I'm not going to sit here and feel bad. Like I wish we could play Madden with the injuries off. All I know is that at the end of Sunday, the Bears were 6-3. They're in the 7th spot for the playoffs, which was funny because, by the way, when I was sitting here doing Game Day Live, we kept showing the in progress, and like the Lions game had not finished, so they were doing the in the hunt thing. They were like, here's the current schedule or the current playoff thing, and it's like, oh, there's Bears at number 7. I'm like, well, this is going to change because the Lions are going to end up beating the Commanders, and we're not going to be in that 7th spot anymore. I had neglected the fact that the 49ers were going to fall out because they were losing to the Rams. So I'm like, oh, this is fun. And we should just be out here enjoying it. Yep. Like if you want to sit here and talk ass and be like, you could have done this, you could have drafted that guy. Who gives? I don't care. All I know is that we're 6-3 and we're the current number 7. I'm like General Hubble. We're up here and you're down there. We've got the higher ground right now, and I'm not going to sit here and apologize for it.
Reference from The Rock made it into A Block, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. So that's a shout out to
you. Walked into the wrong room.
Great call out there. Yeah, I mean, and so you guys brought it up. I mean, no, you don't apologize for wins, but yes, I think we can acknowledge that this has been the shout out to Mike North, the schedule maker, because I do think that this has worked out in the Bears' favor for them still trying to figure out who they are as a team and figure out their offensive line and kind of work through some of these injuries, still working through them with TJ Edwards not playing in this last game. You still have questions about when Kyler Gordon will return, if Jalen Johnson will return. That being said, the games don't stop from here. The Bears already had their bye week, and now we look ahead to this final run and what the Bears can do. They're 6-3. They've got 8 games to go, and it's all against divisional opponents or against teams with a winning record. And the only team without a winning record that they play, I believe, is the Minnesota Vikings. You bring up the 49ers, second to last.
Browns.
Oh, and the Browns. Thank you very much. Thank you for that correction. And then you've got the 49ers, the second to last week of the season on primetime, which could end up being a really big game. So I've tried to keep my expectations tempered throughout the summer, throughout the offseason, much to the chagrin of Adam Rank during our weekly shows. But I stayed true to this level-headed approach, and I kind of still am there just because of how much I appreciate.
Just wait till we beat Philly. on
Right.
Black Friday, and we'll see how level-headed Greg Braggs
Right.
is.
Right.
And well, these next 3 games are pivotal, so let's get into
Yeah.
that here a little bit. Or actually, why don't we take a quick timeout because I know Phil will be joining us soon. So it's a good little teaser set up here for the next segment. So we're going to take 2 minutes. Please hit that like button while you're hanging out. Subscribe to the channel as we are inching ever so close to 100,000 subscribers here at CHGO Sports. We appreciate every single one of you. So we're going to take quick 2 minutes to give a shout out to our presenting sponsors. And when we come back, we'll look ahead to the schedule for the Chicago Bears here the rest of the way. Whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. So bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Whether it's spreads, props, futures, or in-game, Circa Sports has it for you. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. And you know, Chicago sports are rocking right now. Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks are on fire. Bulls are one of the best teams in the NBA. Bears are sitting atop, a top spot for an NFC playoff spot. You want to make your money with Chicago sports. And when you do, you want to download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. But do not miss out on our good friends over at Circa Sports Illinois. They set it apart from anybody else when it comes to sports gambling here in Illinois. And then I also want to give a shout out here to every single person that came to our tailgate here yesterday. It was a phenomenal tailgate once again. Saints game was rough. It rained, but this one, no rain, a little bit of snow, but we bared through it. You can tell everybody had a great time. There's even more fans behind us that you can't see. They come out in droves. And so I want you to head to allchgo.com/events and make sure you get your tickets to the upcoming tailgate for the next home game. And that will be for the Steelers game here in 2 weeks. It will be rocking at the corner of Wabash and Cermak. So once again, go to allchgo.com/events to get your tickets. You don't have to be a diehard to come to our tailgates, but if you do, you get a discount on that event. Get a free shirt as soon as you sign up. I'll tell you about more of that here coming up next. We're back here on CHGO Bears After Dark with Adam Rank and Shayne Marsaw. We appreciate everybody hanging out. Phil Ottochian should be joining us here in a little bit. And when he does, I know he'll be bringing a lot of passion because I know yesterday he had some things going on. So I know a lot of fans are still awaiting his reactions to a big-time win over the Giants as Caleb Williams willed his team to victory yesterday. So let's get into it here as we kind of look over this schedule here, the second half of the season. It's not going to be easy, but let's start with Minnesota right here, Shayne. This is the first team for this season that the Bears will have played for a second time. So when you look at adjustments that Ben Johnson has made, whether it's in-game or week to week, with some of the struggles the Bears have had in addressing those things, whether it's the O-line or it's the penalties or it's Caleb, defense, whatever you want to say, or even the bye week adjustment as they, came into that Commanders game. What are you looking at as the biggest keys to how the Bears can right the wrong from blowing that game to Minnesota week 1 in Chicago and try to win their first divisional game here this season?
Running the football. That is the big part right there. I'm just looking up here. DeAndre Swift had 17 carries for 53 yards. Caleb had 6 for 58, and the only other person that got a carry that game was DJ Moore. You got another guy that, didn't get any play that's starting to make an impact on almost every carry that he gets, and Monungai now. So that part of it is big. And, Ben Johnson has transformed the running game. I mean, that was clear over the bye week for the Chicago Bears that they needed to get it fixed. Now, is it perfect? No, we saw some hiccups yesterday, but that'll be a big part because that's only going to make things easier. You were talking about the play action. Can't sell play action if you can't run the football. And that's where it's all going to start. And Ben Johnson.
Don't tell the analytics guys that. That's been a fight I've been having for years. Even Ben Johnson told me at the combine.
Yeah.
And I'll never understand it when I ask former players. I know it's kind of going off track here to your point, but it always blows my mind how the analytics people, even a guy like Ben Johnson, will tell you that you actually don't have to be a great running team to be a great play action team. But yet anybody that's ever played the game says the opposite. So I don't know how to make sense of that.
You can run play action all day long. It doesn't mean that you're scoring points with it and you're consistent with it. You know, but it makes it easier is the point. If you can sell the running game and they're going to believe that we saw it play out yesterday, you know, with Caleb. And we'll see. It'll make a difference. It makes things easier. And you have 9 weeks of Ben Johnson finding out who his team is, who his players are. You don't have Braxton Jones at left tackle. Theo's not perfect, but he's better than Braxton Jones is. You see a top 10 pick in Darnell Wright that was not even really middle of the pack to start off the year. And now you're seeing a guy just dominate and making impact blocks every single game that we're not just getting excited about it. It's people on a national level that are pointing it out, you know, with Darnell Wright. So all of that, biggest thing is I wish we were healthy in the secondary because it's still a problem, and obviously the pass rush is going to be a big part of it. You can't sit back and Jackson Dart made plays over the middle of the field because Noah Sewell was horrible yesterday. He was getting no depth on his drops, any of that. He had the biggest missed tackle in the entire game. You think TJ Edwards misses that tackle and then gives it, what did it end up going for, 42 yards, I think it was, to Singletary? So but to me, number one, running the football. It's going to make life easier on your quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. As we bring Draft Dr. Phil Ottochian into the discussion, or at least I hope we do. You know, I kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there it is. So I haven't done the 4-screen here in a while.
Four square.
The three families reunite as Draft Dr. Phil Ottochian, and Shayne Marsaw from the Tape Never Lies Network, and then, of course, Adam Rank from NFL Network and, of course, the Sick Podcast. The three families are finally here. Phil, we kind of went over a lot of the Caleb stuff in the first block. Certainly, you'll have your opportunity to go all in, because I know there's even fans in the chat saying they were looking forward to hearing your overall take of everything that happened, because I know yesterday you had to take the day off. We're also looking ahead here to the second half of the schedule as the Bears make a playoff push. So I'll just kind of give you the floor right now to kind of give your opening remarks here and join the conversation here. Welcome back.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, the first Bears game I've missed in 32 years. So been a long time, and it was tough to miss it, but to watch it later while we knew the score, because I coached with a bunch of Giants fans and he had to hear the score. I was like, let's just wait and we'll watch it. No. So we knew they won. And then watching it, I was like, how did we win? Oh, we won because we have a franchise quarterback that has ice in his veins and plays with a determination and a passion that Bears fans have not had a easy time jumping on board with the three amigos. I'll leave Greg on the floaty. He's been a little shaky in the waters, but the other two families have completely always defended the Iceman that is Caleb Williams. And I'm just saying, like, I don't think enough people give credit to Caleb, the quarterback's escapability. Harry Houdini, as Shayne and I were talking. I'm like, Shayne, it is a thing of beauty. Like, you just don't even appreciate how he's able to escape free running NFL pass rushers that are outstanding. These aren't like guys in the preseason where Carm could say he's going to be working at McDonald's next week. These guys are coming full throttle, and he's juking them, creating these other passing lanes. So in a geometry of football, he's allowing himself time to get a different angle. And we talked about the ability to run scramble drill. And I know you guys have probably talked about it. I haven't had a chance, but the drops are just pathetic. It's just pathetic. And it's disgraceful because you have one job. And I'm from the school of toughness, not the school of giving everyone an award. I'm from the school where accountability reigns supreme, and that's where Ben Johnson has been a lifesaver, the penicillin to what the Bears have become previous to Ben. Now he's curing that with accountability, and you could see it. I know Shayne talked about Caleb with the game on the line, passing up Oz because he understood I have to do this. And when you have that game-changing quarterback, it's just a different level of intensity. We have not had it. We haven't had a guy that escapes like this. We haven't had a guy that throws like this. We haven't had a guy that we all can say, and I've been there. I don't care. This isn't arrogance. This is confidence. I have always said this about this guy. He's different. He's a difference maker. He makes everybody better. Greg, we have not had a quarterback that we all could say, and Adam can attest, okay, we're down 10 in the fourth. We're still in this because of him. We have not had that. And Bears fans that have been waiting for failure, remember the movie Waiting to Exhale? The Bears fans have been waiting for failure. That's where they all come out in droves. See? No, I see a difference maker. I see a game changer, a game wrecker, a guy that's going to do everything in his power to make everybody on the field better. And when you have the guys that believe in it, and you saw it, and how he's given the award for the game ball and how his teammates respond, all the narratives that all these blog boys tried to write and continue to write. I mean, you saw Herb Howard with his pathetic stance with this stuff. It's like, are you watching the same game? Because what we just witnessed was like a Michael Jordan-like takeover. We are going to win this. Believe in me. We will do. And they did. And they did win. And the Giants coach did get fired because you have this quarterback that delivers the football and has many ways of changing a game. And I'm just excited to be here with you guys because it's like a coming out party for most people. But for me, it's just we're in the layup line before the basketball game. And this is what we do to warm up. This guy is the guy. Buy into it. Start supporting him. I know the broadcasters stink. I know Kyle Brandt tomorrow will buy a Caleb jersey and wear it. It'll all come to Chris Canty's on a train, a Caleb train. All these guys have flip-flopped like they're at Daytona Beach. We are here. I am excited. This team has a chance to win every game because of 18.
Yep. No question about it. That was well said.
May I address a couple of the points that he hit, though?
Yeah, of course.
The number one of the things I want to hit on is something that I've seen online recently, and this is a play that Phil just brought up about, look at Caleb missing a wide open Oz. Olamonte Sakis is wide open, and Caleb runs it. And I'm trying to ask people, like, what are you trying to intimate here? Are you trying to intimate that he can't see the field? Because this is a lack of awareness. I'm like, I hope that Caleb did see he was open and is like, no, I'm not doing that. And I'm just going to take it myself. After what had been happening, that is like, again, going back to the Jordan analogy, he was very deferential to somebody like Steve Kerr because he knew Steve Kerr could make it. He was not going to throw it to somebody that he didn't trust to drain the three, and he was going to do it himself. Remember in the pivotal win over Utah when he pushed off Brian Russell, he pushed him off himself and drained the shot. He didn't pass it off, and he sometimes needs to take over. And I love that about him. And I hope that he did. I hope he did see him. I hope he said, "Not today. We're not doing that today. You've let me down too many times." And I like Olamonde. I think he's a good player, and I hope that he figures it out. Cold, whatever. Everybody has a bad day. I'm willing to let it go. So that part of it's fine. And then I forgot about this too until you brought up Carm. How is Carm okay? Is he still pushing for Tyson Bagent? I haven't kept up. I just want to know, does he still believe that Tyson Bagent should be the quarterback?
Well, we'll have to probably bring him on the program eventually. I know you guys are having fun with him, but maybe we'll have to bring him on so he can defend the take as best he can. But I'll
tell the truth. He'll lie publicly, and internally, it's driving him crazy.
Well,
and he wants to cry.
I mean, he makes no secret about it on the show. His unwavering and undying support for one Tyson Bagent. He loves
somebody
the guy.
He didn't even know who he was 2 years ago. That's the best part.
Yeah. And you called him before anybody amongst Bears Twitter. And then when Carm laid his beautiful eyes on him at mini camp, that's when this whole thing started. And now he's making songs about him, and the rest is history. But I'll say this much, and we will. I make that promise to you. I'll force him to come on a show and step into the Lion's Den, and you guys can have some fun with him. He's always
better be the After Dark show for that one.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. So we'll see, but yeah, it's a great thing, and now we look forward here as the Bears try to now prove the rest of the doubters, the doubters are waning, as you said, Matt Waldman said it. Matt Waldman was like, wherever all the Lamar Jackson doubters went is now where the Caleb Williams people will end up, wherever that island is, and all the excuses start to kind of lessen and you have no choice but to buy into what you're seeing here. And so it's going to be exciting. So let's kind of reset the conversation now that Phil has entered the fold. We'll take another time out here, last time out of the show, and give our shout out one more time to our sponsors. And when we come back, we will go over the second half of the schedule, look at the Vikings here coming up next week, and then the path to the chance of the Bears making a playoff run and maybe, winning a division. You never know. Let's not leave anything off the table. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back with more Bears talk here in 2 minutes. Want to give a shout out to our good friends over at Shady Rays who have been with CHGO Sports from the very beginning. Shady Rays is changing the game. These sunglasses are made for real life, seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. We all appreciate that. And if you were at the tailgate, or if you're at the game, or if you're out with your friends and you lose your glasses, or you accidentally step on them when you drop them, when you're getting out of your car, the wildest thing about Shady Rays and the best thing about Shady Rays is if you lose or break your pair, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now you can wear your sunglasses without fear. Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. So head to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses, and try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. We appreciate Shady Rays very much, and we appreciate every single one of you that have become a diehard here at CHGO Sports. And if you want to be a diehard with our great community, you go to allchgo.com/diehard and make sure you sign up. It's great. You get a shirt as soon as you sign up. We got a great collection across all our teams, whether it's Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox, whatever you like. You get a free shirt as soon as you sign up, and then you get free shirts the rest of the way. You get exclusive written content weekly, daily. Adam Johns is putting out great exclusive written material. Adam Hogue does it along with him. They give the insider info every single week. Patrick Norton, Mark Carman, everybody's doing a great job with the diehards to make that worth it. You get discounts on events like our tailgates. You get discounts on all merchandise. So make sure you sign up. We appreciate your support. We're back here on CHGO Bears After Dark. Appreciate everybody hanging out here. Hit the like button for Adam Rank, Shayne Marsaw, and Draft Dr. Phil, a.k.a. Phil Ottochian. We appreciate everybody here. So let's look at the schedule, fellas. Shayne kind of set the table when we talked about the Minnesota game. Anybody that wants to kind of get into that is more than welcome to. But here in the second half of the season, you've got the Vikings here on the road, then back home against the Steelers. Eagles on Black Friday on the road as the Eagles are taking on the Packers right now. Then the Packers on the road. So back-to-back road games followed up by back-to-back home games with the Browns and the Packers, if I'm reading this correctly. And then I thought that Browns game was on the road for whatever reason. It's not. It's at home. And then you've got the 49. Oh, yeah, you're coming for the Browns game. God, Frank, I should know this. And then the Niners, second to last game of the year. That is the last scheduled primetime game as of right now, but they do have a TBD attached to those final three games. Well, not the final three, but the Packers and the Lions to finish off there. So we'll have to wait and see. But as you guys look this over, Rank, when you look at this, where do you think it all kind of lays out? How are you kind of eyeballing this whole thing in its totality? What are some of kind of the hurdles or benchmarks they're going to need to hit to try to make the playoffs? Because this is a stacked NFC. You know,
Yeah.
this is a very stacked NFC. And when you look at this in the hunt graphic, you've got, you know, you got the Vikings kind of lurking. You got the Panthers who kind of slipped on the banana peel, you know, down in New Orleans yesterday. Same with the Niners as well. The Vikings, this is a big game for Bears Vikings. So, you know, there's a lot of teams. It's hard to say how many wins exactly is going to get you in. So where do you kind of stand when you look at these final 8 games for the Chicago Bears?
Yeah, I don't really like to do it too much because I want to stay one game at a time and only look ahead to the Minnesota Vikings and not get too far out in front of myself. But one of the things that always strikes me, and this was something that Cam Newton was talking about today, where he was like, "Hey, I don't want to let the Bears. I hate to break it to them, but don't let them know that they're not really contenders," which is hilarious because I think most Bears fans are probably the most pessimistic. We're like, we're just enjoying the run, guy. Like that's all that we want to do. We just want to go out there and enjoy some good football and watching Caleb Williams develop, and we're just happy to stack some wins. And so we're enjoying that part of it. Number 2, Cam Newton, you of all people should know what it's like to be a number 1 overall pick that nobody believes in, that nobody's going to give you the benefit of the doubt of anybody who should be able to be empathetic for Caleb Williams. It should be you, and it's disappointing that you're not. But when I look at the schedule now, it's going to be very tough. If we don't end up getting a split with the Vikings, that to me is going to be a bad break for us. So obviously should have won in week 1. This is going to be tough because the injuries in our defensive secondary, and we've seen guys outside of Justin Jefferson really step up for the Minnesota Vikings over the last couple of weeks. We've seen Jalen Naylor play pretty well. Even like Josh Oliver comes out there and makes plays for this team. Aaron Jones is back doing the kind of things that annoyed us back when he was a Green Bay Packer. So this is going to be a tougher one than people give credit for. But I look at the Steelers game, and I'm like, everybody's like, well, you got the Steelers. I'm like, yeah, we got the Steelers. Like, do you not watch the football games? Like, there is nothing about, and maybe Aaron Rodgers is able to do the thing where it's like, we thought that we killed the villain at the end of the horror flick, but nope, he's still alive. It's like, I could not watch this game that was right over there, right behind that wall, right there last night. What gives you any sort of credence in the fact that you're like, the Steelers, they're fine, but it's not like, well, that's a lot. Like, there's nobody on this schedule that I look at and I say to myself, that's an automatic loss, especially Green Bay, a team that we should have swept last year. So I look at this and I think that 4 wins and in. What are the 4 wins going to be? I like our chances against San Francisco. I like us in one of the Green Bay games. I like us over the Cleveland Browns, over the Steelers, and I really hope that we don't end up splitting or end up getting swept by the Vikings. So I think there's a definite pathway to victory in the playoffs this season.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a pathway. It's just a matter of, can this team do it? You mentioned the Steelers and with Aaron Rodgers and it being in Chicago. I think either way, if they were playing that game, whether it was in Pittsburgh or Chicago, it would scare me because of Aaron Rodgers. And I think
it's his last game too. I think it's his last game before he retires.
So I think that especially we'll see in this Minnesota game, and obviously teams taking it one game at a time. I think we all are as well, but I think this is a good exercise at the halfway point to kind of look at this full picture. Obviously if they have momentum with the Minnesota game, if they win, that might change some circumstances of my vibes going into that Steelers game. But man, I know Aaron Rodgers, he's such a jerk, and I know how much he's going to love to take it to the Bears, and the way the Bears get moved down, up and down the football field on defense. I'm definitely worried about that game. Even it made me feel a little better yesterday. How he, didn't have his best night, although drops were hurting him as well in that department if you actually watch the game. But Shayne, we can just kick this around the horn. It doesn't really have to be one at a time. I mean, you guys just kind of hop in here and tell me what you think. Phil, I know you kind of just jumped in here as well. So this second half of the schedule is a gauntlet, but I kind of like how the schedule is laid out so far to kind of stair step to this moment.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not the guy that does the jumps ahead like you guys do. I like to listen. I really enjoy. I thought Adam did a good job breaking that down. I come onto the show with a rant I wasn't even expecting. I didn't know what to expect about Caleb, and my cue card or whatever the trump card is in the Uno deck is Caleb. He is the equalizer, and Ben Johnson deserves a lot of credit for getting the offense under center and doing the things I've always talked to you about, Greg, getting the fundamentals of this football team, running the ball and action off of it, and allowing Caleb to cook outside, moving the pocket, doing those things. So any game is winnable. I just think Caleb is that good and the offense is that good. The drops are concerning. The defense, and Adam breaking that down really well. The injuries are affecting this football team in its secondary. So that's the leveling of the field comes there. If we had some healthy, like Noah Sewell, I think Shayne mentioned it. I said to Shayne, I'm like, he literally is costing you third down situations by not getting in his proper alignment and not finishing tackles. So that equalizer, the special teams, is still putrid. I do not understand why Devin Duvernay is on this football team. It doesn't make any sense.
He's been terrible. Honestly. And it's honestly kind of surprising.
He slows down. He sees contact and he just slows down.
He's a former first team All-Pro.
Yeah.
I get the kicking rules were different when that happened, but it's kind of remarkable to watch how bad he's been. And then even more frustrating when you see how good the opposing team special teams are 100%. On kick returns and coverage of that nature. So, hey, you brought up secondary. And Shayne, what are you thinking? Because Asante Samuel Jr. is set to come to Hallis Hall tomorrow, per I think Ian Rappaport put this out last Friday of some different teams he was going to visit. And it was reported that he was going to visit the Chicago Bears on Tuesday. They bring in CJ Gardner-Johnson, who has 3 sacks in 10 days as a Chicago Bear.
Waited too long to get him.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, might have an opportunity to continue to bolster that secondary. Are you interested in a?
Yeah, I'm always interested. I mean, obviously it's going to come down to the medicals when you're talking about a spine and neck injury. Playing in the NFL, it's kind of a big deal. But yeah, if if you believe that he can contribute, I'm not sure how much you're going to get out of him in 2025 because he hasn't been able to do really anything yet. I'm sure riding the stationary bike and stuff like that, but that's much different. But he's still 25 or 26 years old. 100% I bring him in because I think the Bears are in the business of trading Jalen Johnson in the offseason. That's where I'm at. I think Phil agrees with me there on that.
100%.
And I bring in more bodies. Like I people need to pump the brakes on thinking that if the Bears sign Asante Samuel tomorrow, or if anybody signs him, this season that you're going to get anything out of him. It's not a CJ Gardner-Johnson type deal. I mean, to me, CJ should be starting at safety over number 9 for the Bears. That's another
100%.
thing.
So I know you've kind of thought about the idea of trading, Jalen Johnson at different points. You brought that up before the season when there was the talks of where Micah Parsons would end up. So that's interesting you say that, because I did find it interesting when Ben Johnson was asked about Kyler Gordon, and he said about CJ Gardner-Johnson, he goes, well, with Kyler, I haven't really gotten to know him that much because I haven't been able to coach him that much. But CJ Gardner-Johnson, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, of course. I'd have to get the direct quote, but that's essentially what he said.
Coach doing his job.
The coach, once again, we talked about this with how he kind of lit a spark with Darnell Wright, with Ozzie Trapillo, and the way he said that, it kind of felt like a call to action. I'm not sure how close Kyler Gordon is to returning, but he's a big boost in the arm if he can return, and then he's got to stay on the field.
100%. And True Pilgrim says that Brisker played well yesterday. I don't know what he watched.
Probably watched last year's Giants.
Well, he ripped that ball out in the end zone. And then he did tough it out when he came back. Ben Johnson said today that he had
watch him on the Jackson Dart touchdown run when he can't get off a block from Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean,
he's been a liability each and every week watching the tape of Brisker. He's always in the wrong place, doesn't react to the football, kind of settles his feet too often, doesn't wrap. I don't know. I just don't see he's somebody easily to move on from. I'm just telling you honestly.
Can you put up his, just so I can respond to it? True Pilgrims, he's coming back from it. Yeah, he's had the same issue that he's always had, concussions, and he's played all 9 weeks.
Yeah,
and
we're not making excuses. For
he's not
17 concussions in my life.
You don't have a bigger Jaquan Brisker fan than Phil was when we drafted him. Loved
big
him.
Time.
He's not the same player.
He's just not.
Injuries have zapped him.
He's honestly, Adam, he's football illiterate. I call it. Big Tarzan looking guy, doesn't understand the geometric football angles and get there. Like, read the pass. I'm getting to that spot to steal it. I really had high hopes for this guy. I thought in college, and again, it was condensed down. They ran a different kind of defensive philosophy. He was able to put himself in positions and throwing lanes and make plays. We saw that one play against Mac Jones against the Patriots that night. And from there on, the one-hand pick, from there on, I have not seen a guy attacking the football, planning and driving through anybody. Everything is a later hit or missed tackle. The first Vikings game, he lost the game for you. If I was to put it on one play and player, it's the JJ McCarthy pull, and here's Brisker just standing there. Like, no, you have the alley, buddy. You got to get there. You just stood there, watched him run for the end. Like, stuff like that is just, it's frustrating to watch. And that, I don't know. I don't just give players passes. I'm very level. I think that I have a good understanding of what it should be, like what you should have. I just think he's looking for the knockout all the time and to run his mouth. Gardner Johnson is a huge upgrade with him and Byard at safeties. If you get Kyler Gordon back, oh my God, now you have a fluidity of guys that understand football and understand angles. Because one thing that Kyler Gordon really is excellent at is putting himself in a position almost like Mike Brown, but more athletic than Mike was, of understanding angles and getting himself in a position to steal the football or make a play on it. At least last year, it's Kyler Gordon when we see him.
Well, CJ Gardner-Johnson led the team in tackles, which is a great stat for him. Maybe not a great stat for the defense, but certainly a shout out to him. And he's got 3 sacks. And I'll say this much about a Brisker, whether or not, he needs to, it's certainly up his play in coverage. When he gets downhill, when they send him to the quarterback, much like Kyler Gordon, at the line of scrimmage, those guys certainly can do some damage. But Adam, when you're looking at all this in its totality, are you the type that's going to worry about what the defense can be if these guys can't return? Or is it just kind of a sunk cost of, okay, this is who the defense is for this year. And then when the offseason gets here, Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen will have a chance to reload. Because if the Bears are going to find their way to 4 or 5 wins here in these last 8 games, the defense is going to have to play much better, because you've got some really good opponents here coming up. And if Tyler Huntley can drop 30 on you, if Jackson Dart can do what he did yesterday, but Caleb Williams is playing phenomenal here these last couple games. And now it's kind of the defense's turn to kind of come back to where they were when they had that 15 takeaways in 4-game stretch.
Yeah, they got to be a little bit more creative, understandably. And I think that, there is some hope when some of these guys come back. I honestly believe, and it's crazy to say this, but it's like a lot of it to me is dependent on Kyler Gordon. Of all the players, of all the guys who need to be there, there's no secret that when Kyler Gordon was available in the brief time that he was, the defense looked competent enough. Like, think about that Cowboys game. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys have been dropping 30 to 40 points on all sorts of teams, and we held them to 14. To me, that wasn't a fluke. That was just a great defensive plan. And it's funny because a lot of times in the mentions and all this stuff, everybody wants to come after Dennis Allen. I'm like, what do you want Dennis Allen to do? Like, what do you think? Like, how is Dennis Allen ruining this team? If anything, I think that when Kyler Gordon played, it showed what Dennis Allen is going to be able to do. And, again, talking about the realistic nature of Bears fans, we have to sit here and just be like, you know what? Like, it's not going to get increasingly better this season. But during the off season, that's when we sit there and we start doing a little bit more shopping. Now, what I would like for this to happen is I want Ryan Poles to be the guy who goes to Ralph's or what Safeway or whatever your supermarket is. I want him to buy the gift card. And then you hand that gift card over to Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen and let them figure out the players that you need. You're fine, Ryan. Like, we got it from here. Like, you're cool. We got it. Just send the money. Send us a check. Don't go shopping. Don't do it, Ryan. Don't sit there and start looking for defenders on Amazon. And no, it's all right. Just send us the gift card. That's all. Send Ben and Dennis out the gift card. That's all they need. Okay, they don't need the player. They need the money. And so I would love to see. There's going to be an upgrade defensively. It's going to be in the draft, and it's going to be. And again, like, when you think about this, I know for the first 2 weeks of the season when the haters were having a field day, and you're like, oh, these are the players that Ben Johnson wanted. Well, now we're seeing it. Now we're seeing what Colston Loveland brings to a team. Now we're seeing what Luther Burden III brings to a team. Like, we're seeing it. And
even Ozzie Trapillo, he's been
Ozzie.
able to get out there here now that the resurgence of the run game, and he's been making an impact out there as well.
And he can still go out there and take care of some of the guys that are left behind. Darnell Wright is now a player that shows up on the NFL social media accounts as like, watch him destroy this defender. Like, look at what he's doing. Like, and that happens because Ben Johnson is here. It wasn't going to happen under Matt Eberflus. So he 100%. Can make do with some of these other players who get left behind. And listen, I think yes. And the problem with Jalen Johnson is that it's going to take a minute. It's like, dude, it costs too much. Like, it costs a lot of money.
Where is this guy? Where is he? Is he on vacation?
Exactly.
Who, Jalen?
Yeah, is he partying down in Mexico? Where's he at?
I the last I saw,
I've not seen him in one iota with the team or being together at all.
I don't think he was at the team picture day.
He's a individual me guy. Another mistake by Ryan Poles, in my opinion, in regards to this guy. You should have traded him when you had Velus, ability to trade Velus as well. You didn't do that. You ended up having to cut him. The GM is a problem, as we have to buy gift cards to help our roster out. That's a great analogy, and I agree with Adam 100%. I don't trust Poles. I don't, And this football team it needs a shot in the arm with talent. If you really want to help this team, I honestly would put Brisker to play that middle linebacker position in that zone scheme when you're going on those third down blitzes, to bring Johnson in to play his role where he's replacing if Edwards is going to be out long. Now you're not having to worry about Noah Sewell getting to the right depth. You have one thing Brisker does have is physicality. Hopefully he uses it. You can't let 17 and 80 from the Giants move you around it's pathetic. It's pathetic.
Well, I that's fine if you think Jalen Johnson is expendable or replaceable or tradable.
Well, we haven't he hasn't played.
That's fine, but to say is he in Mexico?
I don't know where he is.
Jalen Johnson is one of the hardest working players on this team since he showed up in Chicago. So you can have your opinions on him, but I would push back heavily on his work.
I would
the guy has been a very hard worker.
Go to the team picture. What's he working on?
I just don't. Go ahead.
It might be impossible though. Like the whole thing is like the cap number. Like it might be a number that we can't get off of or anything like that.
You can't. His out is 2026. The way that it's
next year he could be out.
Well, no, this off season coming up.
Coming. Yeah, that's what I meant.
But I would love to see what he could do with him. I do think that Ben Johnson, again, going back to the Darnell Wright thing, he's shown that he can take some of those players and mold them into the things. And Jalen Johnson is a player that I would love to get that opportunity. He just has to get on the field.
You're right. The big thing with Jalen Johnson is what you have to watch out for is the way that his deal is structured. There's no guaranteed money left on. So do you think that he's going to, where Phil is 100% correct is he going to do everything in his power to get back this season, knowing he's got no more guaranteed money left on his deal beyond it? Or is he going to err on the side of caution and say, I'm not pushing anything because I know I don't have any guaranteed money left?
Well, and I know that the injury was severe, and I know the surgery was serious. So it's certainly a fair question.
Oh, it is
to ask, and a fair question for him to ask himself.
And is he going to be there? Is he going to be there for any of the workouts in the offseason? Is he going to be in training camp on time? Is it going to be a hold-in situation because of the guaranteed money? That's this is all going to be about.
Well, let's cross that bridge when we get there in the offseason. I think the biggest question is, would he be able to return here at the end of the season? And if he is, that's a huge shot in the arm for this defense that just added CJ Gardner-Johnson to the fold, and a really good secondary when everyone is healthy, but when being the proverbial term there, because they just haven't been able to. Not
to go off course with this, just remember though, you have a lot of guys that this team has invested in Terrell Smith and Isaiah Frazier, guys like that are coming back next year that they believe in also. And you have to figure out the pass rush is more important than giving Jalen Johnson new money.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an interesting situation here for the offseason. The nice thing about this is that the Chicago Bears have to wait and shelf that conversation for the offseason because we got a big final 8 games of the regular season here coming up, and it's going to be exciting. This game on Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings is a big one and an opportunity for the Chicago Bears to right a wrong from week 1. That one is still stinging, when you're doing the playoff math and thinking about the woulda, coulda, shouldas. The Ravens pill was a tough pill to swallow, but that Vikings one is a little worse for a few different reasons. And so we'll see. It's going to be an interesting finish to this year.
Can I ask you a question about Jalen, just to put a bow on this?
Sure.
Okay. If Jalen comes back and asks for more money, are you paying him? That's my problem, Greg.
Yeah,
that's why I'm standing.
And what's funny about this is while you're the guy that says I only want to look game to game, I don't look at the whole schedule, I'm not looking forward. When it comes to contract stuff, I don't care. Shayne, figure that. Shayne, tell me what kind of money the Bears will
I
have.
don't care about
I'm
it.
gonna have to talk to Carm. That's
Yeah.
where I get all my
Yeah.
football knowledge from.
Carm likes to skip 5 steps ahead.
I'm
of
sure
time.
there's some kid playing for the
I
Rough
don't care
Riders
about the money
in the
either.
CFL right
Well, I'm
now
just
that-
saying.
I'm
tell
just
me
saying I would
later-
never pay a guy who hasn't shown me.
Tell me in March how much money the Bears have and tell me the situation. Then I'll be able to give you that answer. Right now,
Okay.
I can't tell you that answer. All I know is I like good players on my team. And I think not only Jalen Johnson is a good player, I think he's a great player when he's healthy. And so the Bears could always use good players, great players. And so I'm welcoming Jalen Johnson back to this locker room with open arms when and if he can come back this year. And I think the incentive of what this locker room and this culture that Ben Johnson is cultivating is certainly something that would be enticing for Jalen Johnson as we have hit overtime. All right, wrapping things up here on CHGO Bears After Dark. Packers, Eagles still tied at 0. So it'll be interesting to see how this, kind of unfolds here. Eagles had an opportunity to get in the end zone earlier. Spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't watched or waiting to watch later. But Jalen Hurts fumbled right before he was able to get around. So
the peanut punch.
Yeah, it was a peanut punch. Yeah, he was rolled over on top of another player and heads up play by the Packers linebacker to knock the ball out right before Jalen Hurts' knee went down, or else the Eagles probably would have scored on that drive. So
now, the player's helmet is falling off, and then you hit their helmet. Is that a foul?
Yeah. Between that one and then the no call on Caleb with the knee to the head, that was
how is Greg Olsen?
Greg Olsen was so off base on that. He's like, he didn't mean
Adam
it.
Rank.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Ask him. Like, how is Greg Olsen watching that film thinking that knee wasn't done up?
He's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, at his job, but
He's so great. Yeah.
his explanation to that yesterday was baffling.
What are you watching?
Baffling.
Yeah.
Well, and that just goes to show you, because he, in my opinion, is the best in the business to do it. So, or is doing it right now. So, I guess everybody's. I don't know what he was looking at either. There on that
turn
call.
around and then started to defend Caleb Williams with all the drops. It was like the last, I would say, 5 broadcasts. The broadcasters have come in with a clear agenda against Caleb. It's like, okay, this is the script we want you to do. Let's go out.
And their boss is a USC guy, which is hilarious.
Exactly.
But it's just a guy. I think that, this stuff permeates because you get so much of, you don't watch every game. Like, you're invested in your game. So Greg Olsen did not watch 49ers Rams this week. So if he gets the Rams or 49ers, he's going to have to talk to somebody who was there the previous week. And if it's Hader McHaderson, who's like, oh, Caleb sucks, then they're going to be like, okay, he's going to walk into the game being like, oh, this guy sucks. And then that's the lens that he's going to go through. And so it's really tough, and it's a tough thing to do. And it's tough for these national broadcasters. And I think it's something that we've started to see where everybody who goes into their silo, and then when you do have a national broadcast, in some ways it's refreshing because it's somebody who doesn't really have an agenda, but it feels too often like these guys do have agendas. Like, what is your beef with the Bears?
Archuleta was.
Adam was having a tough day, and I like Adam.
He was having a tough day. Same with Troy Aikman. Obviously, it went viral.
Doesn't it feel like, though, they just don't want to lose the low-hanging fruit of the Bears being irrelevant at quarterback and terrible on
lot
offense?
Of things.
It's just easy to talk about.
There's a lot of things that that Troy Aikman has in common with Caleb Williams. Hey, you both stiffed Oklahoma, so you should have that in common. But Troy Aikman did go to UCLA, and Caleb's a USC guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so there's, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, and then they were talking about him, Caleb working out and not getting back to Troy until a little bit late, and then Troy didn't pick up.
Yeah, that'll piss somebody off.
Yeah,
That'll do
but
it.
can you imagine if Caleb was supposed to be in there working out, or you know what I mean? He's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't.
Caleb blows
I ain't
off
gonna worry about it.
a workout to go talk to Troy Aikman is not going to fly well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna
Well,
fly well with Coach Ben.
Well, as Robert Nash here says it here in the chat, Burkhart and Brady are set to call the game on Sunday for Bears versus Vikings. So
Brady can see the head coach that he couldn't.
Well,
sign.
and
Brady is he's a Caleb guy though, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and Caleb's had a couple big games with Brady on the call.
Bringing it back to Aikman, who was the lady that said that Caleb missed an opportunity to be mentored by Troy Aikman. We're like, well, yeah, he's got a direct connect to Tom Brady. We're fine. Thanks.
Final super chat here as we wrap things up here on CHGO Bears After Dark. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Matt Rabus, $10 super chat says Caleb has that clutch in him, but bad drops count the same as bad passes. Yards left on field aren't just because of drops. Keep special teams off the field. They are a hazard. So,
again, this goes to, this goes to the fact that I know a lot of you just love to watch the Bears, and you don't sit there and spend a lot of time watching the NFL by and large. Quarterbacks miss passes. I know it's weird. This isn't Madden. Players miss passes. Like I was sitting there watching the Patriots game yesterday, and Drake May makes bad throws. Drake May's bad throws don't show up on anywhere. Like they don't. Like nobody talks about them. They're like the Ark of the Covenant. They're locked away and never talked about again. Nobody cares.
They didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know how Caleb hasn't been perfect this year by any means. He certainly, has bounced back since the Ravens game here, these last two games.
I want to let you know, Drake May was 16 of 31 yesterday. You would have thought he was 31 of 31, right. 500 yards, 16 touchdowns.
Well, Justin Fields had 42 yards come on one play out of his 56 that he passed for yesterday. That was awesome. Oh, God. There go the comments tomorrow on the YouTube page.
The explosion.
Why you gotta bring Justin in?
You don't need to bring Justin in.
Yeah. No, but anybody that watched that game yesterday, even before the comeback, and couldn't readily see how much Caleb was trying to carry the team. You're watching a different game, and it can be frustrating to hear that from fellow Bears fans. But at the end of the day, you gotta kind of have to leave people to their opinion if they're gonna stick their feet in the dirt that way. And then when the comeback happens, if you're not gonna then give him the ultimate credit that he deserved because of the way he found his way through that game after all the drops, because they listed it was
Did you hear Boomer Esiason today?
Yeah, I heard the Boomer clip.
Crazy.
It's crazy. And
what did Boomer say?
This kid at points yesterday didn't even look like he knew how to play football.
Which is
talking
insane.
about Caleb.
He's totally not watching the game.
Right.
That's what that is.
6 drops were listed today, but honestly, it was more close to 8 to 9.
Salamide
had a drop.
Cronin math. It's got to stop. The PFF usage of drops. I have a Dunze down for 14 drops on the season.
Well, and
not even I'm being lenient too. There's possibly 3 more that I was like, all right, I'll let that one be a tough catch. We'll let it go. Yeah. You get 2 hands on the ball, catch the ball. Seriously.
At some point, too, I would just love to be watching and be like, it's a great catch. You know how many times I've said that this year? I don't think I've said it at all.
Yeah.
We're like, maybe like with Colson Loveland grabbed one off, but there's never been one where you're like, oh my God,
they're happening against us. The Darius Slayton catch. You're like, oh my God. Yeah. We need that.
You're like,
that was an unreal catch. Unreal.
So good.
Unreal. And that was kind of the difference. They had I think one of the tight end caught that toe tap.
DJ Moore had a great catch on the non-roughing the passer lob down the right sideline. That was the one that I could think of. he one-handed.
That was another one. That was another. DJ did have one against, I think it was last week, where Caleb just had to loft it up and DJ ran under it and got it. And it was one of those ones where Tim Jenkins and those guys, and I go, I swear to you, like everybody, if Jordan Love had thrown that pass, it'd be like, this is how great Jordan Love is.
Yeah.
You're right where this guy needed to be. And then when it's Caleb, we're like, he got lucky.
Yeah.
Like,
Up next on Locked
whatever.
On Packers with Peter Bukowski. Catch of the decade.
He's
Hey,
definitely
there he was, fourth down. That's what he had to do. I'm like, I'll tell you what you can do when it's fourth down. Don't target the Panthers player. Like if it's fourth down and you're just chucking it up, it's one thing to be like, at least there's three of my guys down there. Don't throw it to an open space where like he's basically throwing the ball away on that, which is even worse. It's not the flex that you think it is.
Exactly.
And also not the flex is this game. What a bunch of bums.
2 out of 6 for 12 yards.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Robert Lee here with a $5 super chat says, shout out to all you distinguished gentlemen for your insightful perspectives and enjoyable Bears conversations. Let's effing CHGO Bears.
Look at this guy. Getting creative. I like this.
I love it.
Appreciate you, Robert. Appreciate everyone here in the chat. And as always, I appreciate you guys, Shayne, Phil, Adam Rank, the three families once again doing our thing here on CHGO Bears After Dark on a Victory Monday. 6 of the last 7 Mondays have been Victory Mondays. It's been pretty cool to see the Bears resurgence here under Ben Johnson, hoping for a big second half and an opportunity for the Bears to get into the playoffs for the first time since 2018. But we will see 1 week at a time as the Bears look ahead to the Minnesota Vikings. So make sure you tune in here tomorrow as we start to turn the page and look forward to a big divisional matchup. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to the Tape Never Lies Network and, of course, the Sick Podcast as well. All three of these gentlemen are doing fantastic work throughout the week to bridge the gap from one game day to the other. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night football.
Every week. Dime?
What's
See
that?
that last comment?
Yeah, it is a weekly
We
thing.
are
guys.
every week.
Yeah.
Monday night with Gregory Braggs After Dark.
That's right. This is
Adam
a weekly
Rank.
thing.
The smartest
Sometimes I'm
man.
here for 15. Sometimes I'm here for an hour 15. You never know.
Well,
never know.
it's just
You might
like
go on a
After
rant.
Dark is like the bar down the street. You can come in when you're
Jalen
around.
Johnson might be here next week. Who knows?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We're going to have to replace it with Jalen. He's going to be around a while.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson will be replacing Phil.
Ozzy Trapillo will be best
Ozzy
draft
will
pick
be
ever. Will be
replacing-
hosting.
All right.
Shayne
Oh,
Marsaw.
that's enough.
Yes. All right. I am
After
ending this
Dark.
show. I am ending this show.
Turn it off.
Goodbye.
We love you, Greg.
I've been
Goodbye,
talking for 3
everyone.
hours.
Go
Oh, boy.
Eagles.
Yes, go Eagles.
Oh.
For this week. Yeah, that's a tough one for Shayne to say out loud, but we got to say it. Enjoy.
Root against the pack.
Enjoy. You guys are pulling a Mark Carmen here. I'm ending this show. All right.
Well, I
Everybody-
do got to say, too, that in our
everyone got to get
prediction,
their dang Mark Carmen
The
last
police-
word in here.
There's a roadblock coming up, Angelo.
Oh, boy. Have a good night. Bear down.
We all silly like the mayor.